What's up, guys? I get asked all the time what I do when they ban my Meepo, and who else can absolutely carry a 1 versus 9 mid. You won't believe it, but there is such a hero, and it's Storm Spirit. He's a super strong and fun hero. I've been consistently winning with him for over a year now, across all MMRs from 1000 to 10,000. Today we're going to talk about builds, spells, tactics, how to play against counter picks, basically everything you need to know to start dominating. And thanks to everyone who leaves comments and subscribe channel, I really appreciate it. First, a quick rundown on why Storm is so powerful. He's a unique hero who's strong at all stages of the game. In the laning phase, he either dominates or goes even against most heroes. With his ultimate, he has huge ganking potential. In the mid-game, he hits a massive power spike, especially before the enemy gets BKB and pipes. And in the late game, with strong items, he's practically untouchable if you play it right. The hero can both play actively and farm incredibly fast as long as he has mana. And most importantly, he's ridiculously fun to play. He's probably the only hero I can play 5 games in a row with and not get bored. To start off, a super quick overview of our spells. Remnant is a powerful nuke with a low cooldown that deals a ton of damage. It's great for farming and allows us to burst enemies down early on. Like, if a guy gets hit by 3 remnants, he's literally left with no HP. Now, Storm has Facet who upgrade for a moving remnant. You press Q on an area, and it slowly moves to that spot. This is insanely good in the laning phase because it lets you harass melee heroes easily. Our second spell is just a disable. Not much to explain here, it's pretty straightforward. This isn't like Venge or Ray King's stun that you can easily dodge with a Manta or BKB. It's an instant disable, and it's incredibly strong. The third spell is the core of our kill potential. We have a passive that charges up every time Storm uses any of his spells. The passive zaps a nearby enemy for 100 magic damage and briefly slows their attack speed. So, if you cast 5 spells near an enemy, you hit them with 5 passive procs, and that's minus 500 HP for the enemy. A very powerful thing. And the ultimate, I assume everyone knows how it works. You press it on the spot where you want to be, and Storm flies there. One neat trick is that you can tap it quickly in place to, for example, dodge an incoming projectile or charge your passive. Just double tap the ability key, and Storm will use his ultimate right where he's standing. Also, for every enemy hero kill near you, you get 1 stack of his innate passive, which permanently increases your mana regeneration. But when you die, you lose 3 stacks. So, if you're running around without dying, you can stack up to around plus 50 mana regen. On Storm, that's absolutely broken because you'll always have the resources to fight. Now, let's quickly talk about the core of our combo, the Aghanim's Shard. In this patch, the Shard is a must-have item on Storm. It gives way too much value. Specifically, it grants 3 charges of our passive, Overload, and increases attack speed by 40 for the duration of those 3 hits. The passive procs don't just affect Storm, they hit all nearby units, including summons like Visage's Birds. This is an insanely powerful mechanic. It lets you burst down Roshan or any hero in a fight incredibly fast, because essentially, those 3 hits add plus 120 magic damage, and with magic amplification, it's even more. Now, let's break down our core combo. We zip onto an enemy, which procs our first passive hit from the ultimate. Then, we immediately use Electric Vortex, which procs a second passive hit. Right after that, we drop a Remnant for a third passive hit. Then, we use our ultimate again to create a bit of distance from the enemy, which procs a 4th passive hit from the zip itself. Creating that distance is crucial because it makes you harder to target and lock down with stuns. When we have the Aghanim's Shard, we integrate it right after using Electric Vortex. So the sequence becomes Zip in, first passive, Vortex, second passive, Activate Shard, 3rd, 4th, and 5th passive hits, Remnant, 6th passive, Zip out, 7th passive. The damage from this, especially with the Shard, is so massive that a support will often just melt away. Alright, let's talk about the item build. Starting off, we grab 4 Iron Branches, a Tango, and a Fairy Fire. It's a cheap and efficient start to rush that bottle. Your first major item should be the bottle, which you can get with the first courier delivery. After that, you'll almost always upgrade your branches into a magic wand. The only exception is if you're against a hero with very few spells, like a Viper. Once you have your wand, in 90% of my games I go for a Soul Ring. It's an absolute must-have on Storm. It gives us some tankiness, and more importantly, a burst of mana. A neat trick is to pre-equip any plus intelligence items before activating it. You'll get about 300 extra mana from a single use. Overall, it's essential for the early game farming phase, allowing you to spam remnants in the jungle and lane on cooldown. Next up, power treads. I start building them with the Boots of Speed. They're indispensable on a mid laner to quickly get to power runes, and in general, to close the gap on your opponent for more effective remnant harassment. For my first real item, I get a Witchblade in 90% of cases. It's the best item on Storm for snowballing. It provides a slow and deals about 350 magic damage, which is perfect for securing early kills. Those 10% of games where I don't rush Witchblade first are when we're laning against Puck. It's probably one of the most annoying mid-matchups for Storm, as Puck has a silence and can coil you. It's crucial to kill Puck first in a fight, but doing so without an Orchid Malevolence is nearly impossible. After that, I always go for Kaya. It's a core must-have item for Storm that boosts the mana regen we get from our passive stacks, from Bottle, and also increases our magic damage by 10%. On Storm, this is absolutely broken because all of our damage is magical. It's important to buy Kaya after the Witchblade because by that time, you'll already have some stacks from hero kills. As for the Aghanim's Shard, we grab it the moment it becomes available, as it gives us a massive power spike for our combo. After Kaya, Storm has a huge variety of item choices. This is where he becomes a super versatile hero. If the enemy team has a lot of stuns or silences, you immediately go for BKB right after Kaya. If you're heavily dominating and BKB isn't a top priority, for instance, if the enemy only has 1 or 2 stuns that are easy to dodge, then you can go for Yasha and Kaya. It gives us nice attack speed to help snowball, movement speed, which is super valuable on Storm for saving mana on short zips, and it also boosts our magic amplification. If we're up against a lot of magic damage, like heroes such as Venomancer, Tinker, or Lina, then Shroud is a solid choice. This item is where Storm can truly unlock its full potential. It provides a ton of magic resistance and grants bonus mana whenever we take magic damage. So you get focused, brought down to low health, and then with that extra mana, you can just zip out and turn the fight. It's a very common scenario. Plus, it gives a decent health pool, making you much harder to burst down quickly. If we're playing against illusion heroes or those with high physical DPS, then Shiva's Guard is the way to go. It increases your magic damage by 15%, gives a ton of armor, and is fantastic for setting up fights with its slow and magic damage aura. In short, it's a powerful item on Storm. If you're against a heavily farmed core that you absolutely need to lock down and kill, or you're losing to someone like a Gyrocopter or Juggernaut, then getting a Scythe of Vise right after BKB is a great move. Hex provides a massive mana pool and regeneration, a ton of damage from the Intelligent, and of course, an additional Disable. Combined with your Vortex, you have around 5 seconds of control. It's absolutely broken. If the game goes late, you can upgrade your Witchblade into a Parasma. It deals damage through BKB and, on hit, reduces the target's magic resistance by 20%. Remember, all of Storm's damage is magical, so this item is incredibly strong. Another excellent late-game option is Aghanim's Scepter. It makes your second spell, Electric Vortex, an area of effect ability instead of single target. This allows you to zip into a fight and initiate on the entire enemy team at once. For a super late-game scenario, you can even pick up a Refresher Orb for double AoE Vortexes and double BKB charges, which is just insane. Now let's talk about the skill build. At level 1, you take Remnant. At level 2, you take a point in your passive Overload. At level 3, you take Remnant again. But sometimes, if you see the enemy mid laner is out of position and you can secure a kill, you can take Vortex instead. Then, you max Remnant first and take your ultimate at level 6. After maxing Remnant, you max your passive, Overload. At level 10, always take the talent for 1.5 mana regen to farm Forest more quickly. At level 15, I take the plus 250 hit point talent in 80% of my games because Storm's main weakness is that he's quite squishy. However, if your build includes a Shroud, you can opt for the talent that adds extra damage to Remnant. Personally, I rarely take it, only when I'm completely dominating. At level 20, I go for the talent that reduces Remnant's cooldown. This allows you to cast 2 Remnants during a single Vortex duration, resulting in 2 extra Overload procs and a significant damage amplification. I only take the right side talent, Vortex Pull Duration, if I'm planning to build Aghanim's Scepter. At level 25, the +1 Overload Jump talent is the only choice. It transforms Storm into a formidable right-click DPS. Each attack effectively deals damage equivalent to 3 Overload procs, and you can clear creep waves with just a single remnant. Now, let's talk about gameplay. At the start, warding mid is essential. On the Radiant side, place a ward on this high ground. Below 6,000 MMR, it will usually last the full 5 minutes, providing vision of the power rune, the right side exit, and a bit of the high ground. It's perfect. On the Dire side, I place it down here. It usually avoids common sentry spots and gives vision of the rune, the jungle, and the right side path. In the laning phase, focus on getting every last hit from the first wave to secure a fast bottle. Don't be afraid to use Remnant to secure range creeps. The ideal scenario is to harass the enemy hero and last hit 1 or 2 creeps with a single Remnant. To set this up, pre-harass 1 melee and 1 range creep beforehand. When facing strong laners like Sniper, Viper, or Huskar, try to consistently pull the enemy creeps onto yourself while using Remnant to secure the range creep. Overall, Storm is very strong against melee heroes because it's easy to harass them. They have to approach the creep wave, allowing you to hit them with a moving Remnant. Ahead of the rune spawn, around the 45-second mark, you need to start pushing the wave. This will make our creeps die under the enemy tower, allowing us to easily grab the rune. If the enemy mid goes for the rune, they'll lose a ton of gold and XP from the creeps dying to their tower. Resources are crucial on Storm. Mana allows us to farm quickly and harass the enemy. Therefore, around the 3-minute mark, if you're low on HP or the enemy's support has controlled the runes, you can walk to your own bounty rune or ask a support to refill your bottle. This is standard practice. Ideally, on even minutes when there's no power rune or when you're going for a bounty, try to stack a camp. Storm can farm stacks quickly thanks to his high magical AoE damage. In this regard, he's similar to Meepo. Well, except he has no clones, no poofs, no nets. Okay, fine, maybe he's not like Meepo, damn it. But what I'm trying to say is, he farms stacks fast. Another super important tip about resources. From the first tier of neutral items, always try to get the trusty shovel and use it to dig. This gives us a 100% chance to get a water rune, which refills our bottle and allows us to constantly have resources. This is extremely important for mid-heroes like Storm. After reaching level 6, we gain kill potential. The perfect play is to secure an active power rune and use it to gank a lane where you're 100% sure you can get a kill and earn those stacks. Even if you couldn't secure the rune, always keep a teleport scroll ready to join a fight on another lane. With your ultimate, you can already dish out a lot of damage. So, what does the perfect kill look like? You need to get as close to the enemy as possible while spending the minimum amount of mana, ideally from the trees. If the enemy has an escape, start with Vortex. If they don't, just hit them and then drop a remnant ahead of them. Here's a life hack. If you want to guarantee a kill during a gank, you can buy 3 mangoes. This gives you a bunch of extra mana and guarantees you'll get a kill. Personally, I do this when I see a 5 versus 5 fight coming up, where we'll definitely need the extra resource. When you zip into a fight, always make sure you have enough mana to get out and not feed. Going all in with a full mana commit on a target is often a losing play, as it usually leads to losing the fight. If the enemy has a lot of control, ideally you shouldn't be the first one in. Wait for them to use their stuns on someone else, because dying without BKB on Storm is incredibly easy if you dive in poorly and get focused. After you get a couple of kills, your priority should be to secure your key items, Witchblade and level 12. Your level 1 ultimate is quite slow, making it harder to secure kills compared to level 2. So if you realize you can't kill anyone and you see a big wave of creeps on a lane, don't hesitate to go farm a Storm. Without items and levels is the most useless thing possible. Once you get your core items, the ideal move is to smoke up with your supports and go kill the enemy mid laner or carry. Depending on who is more feasible to kill and from whom, you can get a streak bonus. After getting Witchblade, Kaya, and the Shard, Storm can already dive in and kill even the enemy mid or carry 1 versus 1. But again, only commit if you are 100% sure the enemy isn't baiting you and you won't die to stuns. In a team fight, your primary targets should ideally be the fragile supports or a key hero, like an Oracle or a Legion commander who is trying to jump your carry. In Dota, the team that initiates first usually has an easier time winning the fight, so be proactive instead of waiting to get pushed under your T3. If the game is tough and you're forced to defend, You can easily clear incoming creep waves and prevent the enemy from taking high ground. To do this, zip from the fountain towards the area where the creeps will be, and precast your teleport scroll. Alternatively, if you already have enough items, you don't need to TP. You can just zip back to base with your ultimate. Also, remember that with the shard, you can take Roshan very quickly because you grant your entire team and their summons 3 charges of your passive on attack. Having Aegis on Storm is fundamental because it allows you to dive into fights more aggressively and take out key problematic heroes. Now, let's talk about neutral items. From Tier 1, I grabbed the Occult Bracelet for the mana sustain from neutral creeps, or the Sister's Shroud if there's a strong physical DPS hero like Phantom Assassin or Chaos Knight against you. For the starting bonus, I prefer the HP one because Storm is quite squishy. The mana regen is an option, but the Tier 1 version is pretty weak right now. From Tier 2, my favorite is the Essence Ring. It completely solves our HP problems. The Cloak is also solid, or the Sigil for the extra cast damage. You just have to work with what drops, guys. In Tier 3, the Visp is fantastic. It gives 10% magic amplification, and since all our damage is magical, it's a huge boost. The Gleipnir is also great for the extra stats and cast power, or the Gale Guardian if you need to survive burst damage. Now, onto counters and how to deal with them. The most annoying mid laner for us is Puck. It's almost impossible to kill him without an Orchid. He has a silence and the leash from his ultimate, making it easy for him to catch us out. Against him, I recommend rushing Orchid as your first major item and focusing him first in fights, as he's super squishy and melts under control. Another super annoying hero is Silencer. Currently, after his global silence ends, a second shorter silence is reapplied on us. The issue is, if we use BKB, Lotus Orb, or Manta to dispel the first global, the second silence effect still gets applied, which is a huge pain for Storm. This can be countered by using Yule's Scepter, as you're immune to the second silence while Cyclone. But let's be honest, spending 2.5 seconds in a tornado during a fight isn't ideal for Storm. It's not like you're a Clockwork who loves it. The other option is to try and kill him before the fight even starts. Another very troublesome hero is Axe. If he blinks on you, it's almost a guaranteed kill. So, in fights, we absolutely must wait for him to jump on someone else before we commit. Against Axe, I suggest upgrading your Kaya into a Sangay, and Kaya for the extra HP to survive a potential call. Other annoying picks can be Doom or Legion Commander, but they are countered simply by Linken's Sphere and good positioning. In fights, always keep in mind that if you can't see them, you shouldn't be diving in. For great allies, he pairs well with Coddle, who can pour mana into us. And it's also nice to play with Lion or Pugna, who can heal our resource, keeping us combat ready at all times. Overall, Storm loves it when his allies win their lanes, allowing him to join the team and farm those sweet stacks from kills. Honestly, this info is enough to start dominating with Storm. If you're interested, I could record a game with detailed commentary on all my actions. If you smash that like button, I'll make it happen, guys. Thanks for watching, and good luck out there.